we got some good and bad news. The good news is 2025 is keeping your boy Ego very busy. The bad news is I gotta cook y'all. I'ma cook y'all. Let's get unpacked. We unpack. We unpack. We unpack. Coming to you live, Boxing Ego unpack. Yeah. We unpack. We unpack. We unpack. Coming to you live. Now, I want to start with this PSA. I've been in this industry over 13 years, a full-time content creator in this beautiful sport of boxing. Therefore, I've seen it all. I've done it all. I've been to the hottest events of the year. I've covered many fights. I know fighters, etc. I'm not going to go through my whole rap sheet, but I've been in the game. For that reason, I don't allow anybody to tell me how to do my job, right? Could you say, Ego, hey, could you talk about this or that? Cool. Suggestions, cool. But as far as like bossing me around and telling me what I need to talk about on the channel, I literally started from zero and we're all the way up. You know, it's not going to happen. Furthermore, I tell you guys all the time, there's a lot of low quality content, especially in 2025 in boxing. Be careful where you get your information from. I've said it before, I'll say it again. If Ego hasn't talked about it and it's viral news, there's usually a reason for it. Point blank, period. Now, Canelo and Terence Crawford in September. That is the topic of this video. I'm going to give you guys my purest, truest thoughts, and we're going to get through this video and let your boy Ego unpack. For starters, and this is the fun part about my job, most people get it, but you know, you got the negative Nancy's, the haters, detractors, naysayers. They like to lie on me. I seen a comment. Somebody said, "Oh, Ego, what do you have to say for yourself? Ring is reporting that Canelo and Crawford are fighting. How come you haven't made a video about it, Ego?" You guys don't control the content that I make. Second of all, I don't care what Ring Magazine or Ring TV or the movie The Ring, 7 days. I don't care. Ring Pop, I don't care who said what. I'm here to do my job. Again, I don't let anybody tell me how to do the job that I do. The reality is we're in a space of boxing where you have announcements for an announcement. Say, hey, man, we got a big announcement coming soon. Instead of just whenever you're ready to announce the big announcement. Why do we have to go through these preambles, right? So yes, of course I seen it. A bunch of people sent it to me. And what Ring, let me just pull it up. That's for starters, I think a better starting point, because I don't like to misquote people. I don't have to, you know, lie to make a point. So let's just start there. Ring Magazine, they put this out yesterday, right? Exclamation point. Canelo Alvarez versus Terence Crawford now has an agreement in place for a September mega fight on a Riyadh season card in Las Vegas, the Ring has learned, right? Fans seen this and, you know, took it as gospel and said, oh man, and started making fight predictions. I've already went over this. For starters, you have people who lie on me. Somebody in the comment also said, oh, but Ego, you said they weren't fighting. I never said they weren't fighting. So let me clarify what I did say. I know what I said because I'm there when I say it. What I said was do not prematurely leak a fight if you're not ready to announce the fight. All this like games and, oh, I think they're fighting and speculation, miss me with all that. Show me a press conference. Show me, anything, a contract, press conference. Let me see the promoters start spending money, do graphics, flyers, do a press tour, right? If you want me to believe you, because there's too much fake news, and whether it's true or not, at the end of the day, there should be an order of operations. What do I mean? What do I mean? Well, just think about what I'm saying. I really want you to hear what I'm about to say and anticipate what you're going to put in the comment section, and make sure it's good. Make sure it's good. I said it on Twitter. I'll say it again here. I said boxing news is so unserious. So Canelo Alvarez's September fight has been, quote, confirmed before he has even announced his May fight. Laughing my ass off. How does that make any sense? It's like having the baby shower before you get your girl pregnant. Boxing is full of morons. Hashtag boxing, hashtag ego. And I meant every single word of that. You wouldn't have a baby shower before your girl has gotten pregnant. So if Canelo himself, nor any of the promotional companies, they haven't put out a flyer or anything, Canelo hasn't even announced his plan for May, why are we talking about who he's fighting in September? Give me some solid answers. Give me some better work. Why are we talking about Canelo's September fight if we know that he plans to fight in May and we don't know fully who that opponent is, right? Nor, despite whoever it is, you still have to get through that fight. So I ask you and I implore you, please let me know. Please let me know in what world this makes sense to announce the second fight for the year before you've gotten through or announced the very first fight that you plan to have on said year, because that's what's going on. So yes, I seen Ring Magazine, they posted this, and your boy Ego, I never come half cocked. Y'all know that. So stay tuned to the end of this video, because something else Ring said doesn't make any sense to me, and I'm going to expose it. So if you want to see an expose, make sure you subscribe and stay tuned to the end of this video. That's all I'm asking. And the great thing about this platform and doing content online is my words reverberate through the boxing world. You can always come back to my videos and you could be like, hey, man, Ego was on point. Or if I get things wrong, then I will be held to that standard as well. So again, listen to what I'm saying in this video and, make your own opinions afterwards. But why on earth are we talking about a fight for September if we don't even know who Canelo is fighting in May? And Canelo hasn't confirmed any of this. So Ring Magazine, they could post 18 different, posts a day and giving you the venue, the location. I want to hear from Canelo. How is that hard to understand? If this is when has Canelo not announced his own fights? He's fought a bunch of fights on dazn. He's fought with PBC. When has he not been the one to announce his fights? So fans, I keep telling you guys, trust in boxing ego. It don't matter. The pay's still the same, but a lot of people, they get bamboozled, led astray, and then they come back angry and with pitchforks and like, oh man, I thought this was this and this. That's why I tell you, pump your brakes, let things play out, so you can get a clear assessment of what's really going on, right? So yeah, I seen Ring and everything they put out. You guys sent it to me. Bravo. If it happens, let Canelo announce it. You're not going to convince me that me being a stoic and practicing stoicism, where I don't get too excited and I don't get too low, I don't get too high, I'm in that perfect center, makes less sense than to speculate, come up with a bunch of hyperbole, and put out a lot of fluff and fake content not rooted in actual facts. You can't tell me that's a better method. And because so many people in boxing lack integrity and or don't know what they're talking about, don't really have sources, or whatever their situation is, you guys get clickbaited to death and you believe everything you read. It reminds me of a time when ESPN, among others in boxing, said that Anthony Joshua versus Tyson Fury was a done deal for Saudi Arabia, right? Boom. They said they're fighting AJ, who had belts at the time, unified titles, and Tyson Fury, who had belts at that time, or a belt, the WBC belt, were fighting for undisputed. They went as far as writing articles. There was a bunch of posts and tweets. There were even flyers that were out with depicted Joshua and then Fury, and in the background was like a Saudi desert, right? I seen articles talking about the amount of money that each fighter was going to take home. They're like, AJ's going to take home a career whopping 75 million and Fury's going to get 75 million. And they had the purses down. Fast forward to the future, because again, I was doing content when this happened, because I've been online making content over 13 years, right? So I lived these moments. Guess what? As of recording this video, those two have never fought. Joshua, meet with me, it's mad, and there's only one Tyson Fury. A message to the bodybuilder, to the weightlifter. I'll fight you at 10 stone, right? They still haven't fought to this day. Meanwhile, so much has changed in the heavyweight division. Tyson Fury just lost to Usyk, not once, but twice. Since that point, AJ lost to Usyk, not once, but twice, and got knocked out, coming off a knockout, versus Daniel Dubois, right? And we still didn't get the fight. Now, if they fight, who cares? Because AJ's coming off a knockout loss, and Tyson Fury got beat worse in the second fight with Usyk than he did in the first fight, and it's for no belts. So yeah, they can make that fight, but it's not going to hit the same, right? So I've been here for these moments where the fake news seemed very believable and prematurely was put out there, and people ran with it. I remember even Terence Crawford. He's involved in this fight with Canelo, and then there's another one where Crawford, he was linked to fighting Pacquiao. They said, oh, he's going to fight in June in Abu Dhabi. Bo Mack was doing interviews and confirmed it. Guess what? They said the check bounced or something. The money didn't come in. So you're not going to tell me that my methodology is the wrong way in a sport like boxing. Moving on. Oh yeah. It is now being reported by this guy who is a boxing reporter, right? Breaking news. There is already an agreement for Jake Paul to be Canelo Alvarez's rival in May of this year. A source very close to the operation informs me. The event will be co-promoted by Canelo-Crawford Promotions and MVP, Most Valuable Promotions, Jake Paul stuff, and PBC. So, I love my job. Imagine that. Imagine how dumb boxing looks when the day Ring Magazine comes out and it says Canelo's fighting in September. Now we're getting, and this got 216,000 plus views and is being reported elsewhere. that Canelo is going to fight Jake Paul in May. So what's the likelihood of this? So is that how we do it? We announce 2 different Canelo fights on 2 different dates, and we announce the September one before the May one, and it doesn't even have to come from Canelo. That's why I tell you guys all the time, let's wait this out. Why are you guys as boxing fans so thirsty and such in a rush that you don't even care? There's no quality control. There's no fact checking. You don't care if the person has lied to you, if the content creator gets all their predictions wrong, all their info drops and source material and breaking news is wrong. And somehow, some way, this is supposed to be believed, right? Now, I get it. Ring Magazine has put this out as well. So there's a lot of content creators running with that. But who owns Ring Magazine? Turkey Al-Sheikh, right? So for me, I'm not doing this back and forth. I'm not Aaliyah. Rest in peace. Show me. Don't tell me nothing. Show me. Let Canelo put on his page, hey, in September, I'm fighting Crawford. That's all I want to see. Because, again, when has Canelo not announced any of his fights? And Ring announced his fights before him. And again, why would you announce a September fight before your May fight? All of this sounds very foolish to me. And boxing, this is why boxing continues to look bad. In other sports, like let's say the NBA, Luka is going to the Los Angeles Lakers, right? For example, you might get a sports insider or a hoop insider who breaks the news a little bit before it's on Sports Center. But usually in those situations, somebody will get the drop and they'll be like, Luka's getting traded to the Lakers. And then an hour later, it'll break publicly. As of me recording this video, Ring put this out in the morning, yesterday morning. And as of me recording this video right now, Canelo has not come out and confirmed any of these plans. So again, why are you guys so hasty and in a rush to believe whatever when it's been proven? I've even given examples in this video about how boxing has played these mind games with its fans and got people's hopes up for potentially nothing. Even if there is an agreement, what does that mean? What about a contract in place with signatures? That's what we doing now in boxing. So all you have to do is have an agreement. What about Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia publicly agreed that if Ryan missed weight, they made a public bet that Ryan would have to pay $500K per pound of overage if he missed weight to Devin Haney. Guess what? Like clockwork, for the Haney Garcia fight, Ryan missed his weight by 3.5 pounds and he didn't pay $500K per pound. I know this because I've obtained the lawsuit that Devin Haney filed, and it showed how much Ryan paid, and it had the contract. He only paid $600K. So don't tell me about an agreement, a verbal agreement, when we know, like, why would Devin and Team Haney settle for $600K when per their public bet, it was supposed to be $500K per pound? Ryan was almost 4 pounds over. You should have been given penalty money of like 1.5 million or so, right? So who's gonna opt not to take 1.5 million added to their purse for the infraction, especially considering how the fight played out for Devin Haney, and then would opt to do 600? Oh, that's right, because of a agreement that they couldn't enforce. So I don't care about Canelo agreement and it's earmarked. If he's fighting in May, we got to see who he's fighting, right? And I've heard who he's fighting. But beyond that, he has to get past the fight, and he has to get past it injury-free, preferably off a victory instead of a loss. You know, he can't pull out because he got injured and can't, you know, there's so many things that go into boxing. This is why I've maintained everything from the beginning that I've said, why it's dumb to plan 2 and 3 fights ahead publicly, because there's too much that goes into this game, and people get hurt, people fail drug tests, people get upset. I mean, we just seen Mugia. Imagine if Top Rank had a plan for Mugia's next fight. All of that is thwarted by Surase, who knocked him out. And on paper, he didn't really have any power, so no one really expected the knockout. You dig? Now, another thing that Ring Magazine publicized when they were saying like the fight is done or verbally agreed, whatever, is what you see on the screen right here. This is what they said. Canelo Alvarez versus Terence Crawford will be held at Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas, Nevada. The Ring has learned. Riyadh's season event will be the first ever boxing card held at the stadium, right? And in case you don't watch football, Allegiant Stadium is where the Oakland, formerly known as the Oakland or Los Angeles Raiders, it's the Raiders Stadium, right? So no boxing has taken place in this venue to this date, but they're saying and alleging that Crawford fighting Canelo in September will be the first boxing fight to christen this. This is a big, huge venue, right? It holds football wise like 65, 70,000. But if you configure it for boxing, that you could probably get that number up, you know, 80, 90,000 or so, right? It's a big venue. I haven't even been there yet. So this is what they're saying. And people are now like, oh man, I'm buying my tickets and stuff like that. Again, we haven't heard this. It says breaking news. You see that? So I'm telling you, this is what's going on in boxing. Your sport, my sport. Breaking news tag, Canelo-Crawford Riyadh season event will be held at Allegiant Stadium, right? And the reason I show you this is so I can cook you, right? So let's click on it. It says the Ring Magazine, aka the Bible of boxing. The Bible of boxing is suggesting this, right? Canelo-Crawford Riyadh season blockbuster will take place in Allegiant Stadium, right? A source has advised Ring that September's Riyadh season card featuring blockbuster fight with Saul Canelo Alvarez, Terence Crawford will become the first boxing event to take place at the Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas, right? I've already went over the capacity, yada, 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 right? Allegiant Stadium opened in 2020. The stadium high demand, blah, blah, blah. And that's all it says. And look, no actual writer, it just says Ring Magazine staff. So they're not even putting an author, which is suspect, because they have actual authors with government names and they're not attaching that to this article. They're just saying, oh, sources. We don't know your source. We don't know what that's about. You put this on your website, getting people hyped up, and there's no detail. It doesn't say Canelo confirmed this in a call or a text. It doesn't say or show like an embedded Instagram post where Canelo agreed and said this or shared it. Doesn't show anything about Terence Crawford confirming it, anything like that, right? And look, people getting excited. This is going to be epic. I understand why we had to wait so long. What a great time, right? You're getting people hyped up. Remember, I said, stay tuned, right, to the end of this video so I could cook you. Now we are just about that time. In the words of Bill Duke, you know you done effed up. You said Canelo-Crawford at the Allegiant Stadium. You know you done fucked up. You done fucked up right. You done messed up right. All right? So, I want to share with you this. I want to share with you this. Canelo fights on 2 dates. The Mexican dates, Cinco de Mayo weekend and Mexican Independence Day, right? So in 2025, Mexican Independence Day follows, it's always the second week of September, right? So it falls on September 16th, right? Follow me now. Mexican Independence Day is the 16th. There's a September 2025 calendar, right? 16th is a Tuesday. So clearly Canelo's not going to fight on a Tuesday, which you bump it back to the second week, that Saturday, which is the 13th. Follow me now. So Canelo would take September 13th, which is to observe Mexican Independence Day. It's always been that way, second week. Keep following me. So the actual Independence Day is the 16th. You're not going to put a boxing match with Crawford and Canelo on a Tuesday. So you do it the week before. Just like Cinco de Mayo is not actually on, Cinco means 5, right? Cinco de Mayo this year is not actually on the 5th, right? A Saturday. It's not a Saturday. It's not, see right here. Cinco de Mayo is the 5th, which is a Thursday. You're not going to put Canelo. So he would do it right here and fight May 7th, right? So I just showed you the Mexican dates where Canelo likes to fight. This article from Ring Magazine says, wow, Bible of boxing, Canelo Riyadh season will be the first. No one else has fought in this particular venue. And they're talking about September. I've already went over that, showed you through the calendar that Canelo would have to fight the Saturday, the second Saturday of September, which would be the 13th, in the Allegiant Stadium. But wait, there's more. Your boy Ego has done his research. And boom, this is UNLV, University of Las Vegas. On September 6th, they got UCLA versus UCLA. And then they have this game on September 13th. Where is it at? Las Vegas, Nevada, at the Allegiant Stadium. So week 1 of September and week 2, they got scheduled football games in that same venue. So to me, this is kind of questionable that UNLV's calendar is showing you what's cracking in Vegas. And then they got this game slated to take place in that venue. So I haven't seen that done before. So on September 13th, they're going to run this game. Let's say it's at noon. They're going to run this game at noon. And then it's configured for football. And then they're going to hurry up and clean it up and configure it for a boxing setup with boxing lights. And then get the AstroTurf off the ground and then put a ring and build a ring, in the center of the field or whatnot, and get it cracking and ready for Canelo versus Crawford. That seems a bit weird to me, right? So either this football game that is being advertised is going to have to get the boot, or it's going to have to be another venue or something. Something is not adding up. And I think you guys can see that. So this is what I'm talking about. That's why I want to hear from Canelo what he's talking about. All these sound bites and news bites about what Canelo's doing, some of it's not making sense when week 1 and 2 of September, the Allegiant Stadium is booked up for football games. So old media, they got their work cut out for them. They're going to have to make this make sense for Boxer Ego. How is that feasible that you're going to have a football game in that same venue and then have it configured in the nighttime or by nighttime for Canelo versus Crawford? So for me, I have never seen that done. And that seems a bit weird and a bit much. And like I've said throughout this video, we don't even know what Canelo's doing in May. So I need to wait, and I want to hear from Canelo. I don't trust nothing else if it's not from the horse's mouth. You guys can keep hitting me up like, oh, Ego, I probably won't make too many more videos about this because I did a great job. I did an excellent job in this video expressing my concerns. You guys, some of you guys are such fanboys and man fans. Oh, Turkey's saving boxing. This is amazing. It doesn't even have to be rational. It doesn't have to make sense. It's all emotions with you. So you don't care if what I'm saying presents a good argument or not. I'm not here to speak to those individuals. My content is for true boxing fans who want real stories, real boxing news, and real boxing conversations and dialogues, period. So me, you can't tell me my method of keep it zipped and keep your mouth shut until you're actually ready to come forward. You got details. Like basically tickets are ready to go on sale. We about to do a press conference. That is the best tried and true way in the sport of boxing, because anything else, things can slip between the cracks. And people are sending me these headlines like I'm supposed to do something with that. Oh, but Ring said this. I mean, go ask Ring about it. Don't ask Boxing Ego. I didn't put this out. This ain't my source. I'm just going over what's being put out in the industry. So for me, I've said the same thing from the jump. Let me hear Canelo say, I'm fighting Crawford. Because here's the thing. I just showed you, you have reporters saying that Canelo is going to fight Jake Paul. Let's think about this. Come on, Ego, breathe. Put your thinking cap on. Okay. All right, Ego. I can't let these muff beat me. I'm the best in the business. I know. And it's not even close. Okay, Ego. Sometimes I like to talk to myself. I like to talk to myself because I know I'm killing you. But, okay, Ego. I thought about it. Okay, thought about it. Still want to. The other rumor, because it's all rumors until Canelo confirms, is Canelo Jake Paul. Jake Paul is huge, and I know Jake Paul will not be able to make 168, right? I know that. He's too big. He just fought Tyson at heavyweight. He's not going to be able to shave that healthily and get back down in that weight. So explain, if the report of Canelo and Jake Paul is true, which is definitely being circulated, Canelo, if he does fight Jake Paul, he's going to have to likely move up to a weight that Jake Paul can make. Canelo in the past has talked about fighting at cruiserweight, so they're going to have to fight at a heavier weight, because we know anybody with a sensible boxing brain will know Jake Paul, he ain't making 168. If I'm lying, then explain KSI and Jake Paul. KSI fought his brother twice, and Jake Paul and KSI have been going back and forth. Fans want to see that fight. Could have been a big fight, but they were in different places about the weight. KSI wanted it at a lower weight, like 180 or whatever, and Jake Paul was like, nah, fight me at 190, 200 or whatever. So if Jake Paul could make 168, then why wouldn't he have fought KSI at 180? You see how none of this stuff is making sense? So take my word for it. It don't matter. My paycheck is still going to be the same. For me, for Canelo to fight Jake Paul, it would have to be at a higher weight than 168. So with that being said, first of all, he has to beat Jake Paul. He'd have to get through the fight unscathed, healthy, no injuries, and ready for another fight in September with someone as good as Crawford. But is Canelo, he doesn't do people favors. You get me? He don't really do people favors. So is Canelo gonna, in my world, he would have to, if he fights Jake Paul, he has to fight at a heavier weight, like 190, 195 or whatever, right? Because it has to be something Jake can actually make. And Canelo probably wouldn't mind fighting at the higher weight against somebody who he would look at as a novice, like a Jake Paul. Like Floyd fought Conor McGregor. It's kind of like this fight, Canelo and Jake Paul, is to Canelo what Floyd versus Conor McGregor was, or what McGregor was to Floyd, right? A novelty fight that's going to make a whole ish ton of money for obvious reasons. So let me keep cooking. if Canelo does fight Jake Paul in May, in my opinion, honest opinion, it would have to be higher than 168 or even 175, because I don't think Jake Paul can make that when he just fought Tyson at heavyweight. I think Jake Paul is at cruiserweight to heavyweight, somewhere in there, right? So you mean to tell me that Canelo's going to fight Jake Paul, assuming this is true, fight Jake Paul in May at 190-ish, I would guess. Then 2-3 months later, he's going to lose all that weight. Crawford's going to move up from 54 to 168, and Canelo's going to lose all that weight to get from 190 to 168 for Terence Crawford. And then they're going to put it in a big, massive stadium that Crawford, his old promoter, told you he can't sell, and he loses money. So they're going to put it in this massive 80,000 venue. Like, some of this stuff is not making sense to me, bro. How much money, if Canelo fights Jake Paul, he'll make so much money. He'll make so much money. So he's going to then turn around, like, let's say he beats Jake Paul at 190 or whatever. He's going to just lose all, he's going to Roy Jones it, where Roy was at heavyweight and then he just went back down for Tarver at 175 and got knocked out. I highly, highly doubt. Canelo is a strategist. Canelo is smart. I highly doubt if Canelo fights at 190, which is what I would assume, to fight Jake Paul, if these rumors are true, and I've already showed you who said it and what in this video, I don't see how he's coming back down 3 months later to fight a potentially difficult fight with Crawford at 168. So it begs the question, without getting his actual announcement for whatever he's doing in May, if the Jake Paul is true, there's other names like William Skoll and M. Billy that have been floated around, but without getting that concrete info from Canelo himself, it's kind of hard to map out what happens after. And we know Canelo has a bit of juice, right? Canelo has leverage in his career, so he has the final say. That's why I said it's better to wait for Canelo to do this. But I definitely think Canelo's fighting in May, and he has a fighter, well, I've already made the video, Marco Verde, and he's fighting on the card, whoever Canelo fights. So you guys can keep talking about all these reports, we'll say, in the Bible of boxing, but I have several questions. How, like, is Canelo-Crawford even the type of fight that would fill up Allegiant Stadium? Like, just simple things like that from me being in the industry. Like, we knew when Floyd fought Conor, I was at that fight. They didn't even fight in the Allegiant Stadium because it hadn't been built yet. But they didn't go to like Jerry's World. They took it to T-Mobile. You know what I mean? So putting it in like a big state-of-the-art 80,000 seat arena, is it even that type of fight? I don't know. Crawford, none of his number, he has never done over 1 million. So I don't even know if that's the type of dance partner where you would put it in like that type of arena. But again, I'm not going to further speculate. I've laid out my argument and I did it in an excellent fashion. Subscribe to my channel. We Unpacked. Live streaming can be tough, which is why I use StreamYard. Click the link in the description for StreamYard, which is an awesome tool that enables you to set up your stream with ease of use. Get great results with live streaming. It's what I use. Stream to social media with ease with StreamYard. Live streaming is here to stay. Engage with your audience using StreamYard. Great way to reach out to your audience and connect. So you need a tool that can do that.